Hi, I am Afan Lagari, and today we will look at how to set up Google Tag Manager and install the code on your website or landing page, and how to add AdWords conversion code through that. Okay, so first of all, you can just type in this URL in your browser, tagmanager.google.com, and if you don't have an AdWords account already, a Google Tag Manager account already, it will bring you to this screen, something like this, and you can just add a company name or for the account. Okay, it doesn't matter much here, so you can leave this unchecked. Okay, so there are multiple types of containers, and for our purpose mostly we use the web container. Okay, so you can just name your domain name or your website, and write web here. So even if you want to have multiple containers later, you can name them like iOS, Android, AMP later on. And these names don't matter technically for the settings. Like, these are only for your own convenience, so you can name anything you want, and you have to select which container it will be. And so we will select web here, and you can see now we have the blue button here. So we will create the account, look at the terms, read them, and click yes, and we now have our own Google Tag Manager account. Okay, so this is basically the Google Tag Manager code. Okay, and just in a nutshell, what Google Tag Manager is, it is like a container that you put on your web pages. Okay, like ideally you would put this on all of your web pages, and initially it will be an empty container, an empty box. Okay, and so it goes on all of your web pages, and later on, if you want to place any specific code on your web pages, you don't need to edit your website code again and again. You don't need to disturb the programmers and wait for them, or go through all those things, especially if you are in a corporate where things take time to get approvals. So once you have this Google Tag Manager code, this container placed on your website, you can add whatever code you want whenever you want from here inside this Google Tag Manager interface. Okay, so you can install Google Analytics. You can add the Google Adwords Remarketing code, AdWords conversion tracking code. You can even add Facebook Pixel or CallRail or other codes here, custom codes here, and then you can define when they will get triggered. So basically there are three. Let me just copy this first, and then I will explain a bit more. So this is the first piece of code, and this, as it says here, this goes into the head section of your website, and then the code below here, the NoScript code, goes in the body section immediately after the opening body tag. So we will separate them here. Okay, so you can see we have tags, triggers, variables, and folders. I won't go into too many technical details, but tags, here you will have all the tags that you have. Like, tag is a code, so analytics, the Google Analytics code is one tag, the AdWords Remarketing code will be another tag, and the AdWords conversion code will be a third tag. Then we have triggers. Trigger means when a specific code will be triggered. So whenever you add a tag, you also have to add a trigger for that. To tell Google Tag Manager, GTM in short, to tell GTM when this code should be fired, when this code should be executed and triggered. So this is like the trigger section here. Okay. Now first we will go and add our Google Tag Manager code on our landing page. So this is our landing page. Again, we are using InstaPage. If you're not familiar with this, don't don't be confused with the interface here. So it is a landing page builder, the one we use for this training. And basically, if you're a programmer or if you know basic HTML or coding, you can do this yourself. Go into your WordPress or whatever CMS you're using and add these codes with whatever proper way it is for your CMS. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example for some basic HTML pages as well. Or better off, I will first open Notepad here. Okay, so this is like we are inside Notepad here. Okay, and this is the head section from here. You see, this is the start of the head section, and you can search for the closing head. Here it is. So you can add this in your head section. You can add it like Google recommends you add this at the top as high in the head as possible. So you can add it as high as well, or you can even add it like somewhere down. So you'll take this, copy it. We can place here or we can place here. Okay. So this is the first part. The second part we have to add immediately after this opening body tag. Okay, and now you save it, save the file, close it. So now you have this Google Tag Manager code in your HTML page. So I was just trying to show you how you can add it in an HTML page if you want. Okay, and we are using Instapage here to add an Instapage. Even though Instapage in the analytics section they have this Google Tag Manager like option. So you just need to add the Tag Manager ID here. The ID is this one, GTM P8 MBKVL. So you can add this ID here, and Instapage will itself generate the whole code. Okay, and this is something you might find with other CMS as well. Like you might find WordPress plugins to install Google Tag Manager. You might find plugins with other CMS like BigCommerce, Magento, and others. So when they ask you to add Google Tag Manager ID, you can take this ID from here, this one, GTM P8 MBKVL, and you just add it here. Okay, it's also available, visible in the code here. You can see here, this is the Google Tag Manager ID for this code, and this ID is unique for each account. The rest of the code is same. Okay, so this ID appears here as well as here in these two places. So okay, so this is one way to add the Google Tag Manager code in Instapage. And other CMS, another way is like you edit their files, their templates, and you add them in the head and body separately. So this is something I'm going to do here. We add it in the body, in the head here, and then we add the second section in the body. Okay, save it, and we update the page. Okay, again we will use Google Tag Assistant Chrome plugin. If you're not familiar with this, you can install it in Chrome. We will click on it, enable it, and now we will refresh the page. And you can see now we have this Google Tag Assistant is showing us that we have the Google Tag Manager installed here, and it's showing the GTM ID as well, so you can confirm it is the correct one, GTM P8 MBKVL. Okay. Okay. So this was the first step, and now we will go and add a one sample tag in Tag Manager. Okay, so let's go back to our AdWords account, and we will go into the shared library section in audiences to get our AdWords remarketing code. So here we have the tag details and the setup, and view AdWords tag for websites. So this is our Google remarketing code. Okay, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here with some distance. Okay, this is the full remarketing code. Okay, if you want to give your remarketing code to a programmer to add on the website, this is the one you will give them. Okay, now let's see how we do this in Google Tag Manager. Click on this new tag. Okay, name the tag. So this is some issue here. So AdWords remarketing code. Okay, this is the name, whatever you name it, that's for your own convenience. Now in the tag configuration, you can see there are multiple options here. So Google Tag Manager, basically it makes it easy for you to install the most common types of codes. So like if you have to add the Universal Analytics code, Classic GA, AdWords Conversion Tracking, Remarketing, DoubleClick, Google Optimize, and there are many others as well. You can see like Crazy Ag and Hotjar, Infinity Call Tracking, LinkedIn Insight. So for many of the most common codes, they're easily, like you can easily add them here. And what that means is you don't need to add the whole code here. Let's see, like we will use AdWords remarketing here. Okay. So for AdWords remarketing, we don't need to now add the whole JavaScript code here. Google is asking us for the conversion ID and the conversion label, which is optional. So let's see what is the conversion ID. You can see in your remarketing code, we have this line VAR Google conversion ID. So this number is the ID for your account. This is the conversion ID for your AdWords account. This is unique per account. So we just take this and we paste it here. And conversion label is optional. This is not applicable for remarketing code. This is applicable for AdWords conversion tracking actually. So we leave this blank for remarketing. Leave the other settings blank. Okay, these are some advanced settings. We don't need to go in detail here. Okay, and now we come to the triggers part. So this was the tag part. Okay, so this will generate the tag. And now we will tell GTM when this tag should be fired. And there is a default trigger here, which is the all pages trigger. And usually we trigger AdWords remarketing code on all pages. So I will add all pages here. Okay. But if you want to add a code which will be triggered only on specific pages, you can do that. For that, you will need to, let me just go back here. So you will then need to create a new trigger here. So you click on this plus sign and you create a new trigger. You can name this trigger here. Okay, like thank you page. And the most common option for the trigger is page view. So we usually like the simple way to add a trigger is using this page view option, and we define on what page the code should be triggered. So like if you are installing a conversion code for AdWords, usually that is triggered on a thank you page. So we will use some page views, and then you use page URL contains, and here you can have thank you or whatever URL your thank you page has. Okay, and you save it, and this is how you can add a custom trigger as well. Okay, so for our purpose here we will use all pages. So we have set AdWords remarketing tag here. We have added the trigger here, and now we will save it. Okay, now one very important thing is like Google Tag Manager, this is the workplace, and even though we have saved things, they are not live yet. So they will only be live when I submit it here. Okay, and there is an option to view your changes, how they are working before you submit it. You can use this preview button for that. So if I click preview, then in the same browser where I am, I can, like test the Google Tag Manager code on any page that has that GTM code. So now we are in the preview mode. I will go here and let's check. I just refresh this page, and you can see there is this section open here. This is what happens in the preview mode. You can see what tags were fired and what were not fired. So here you can see it's showing me that the tags fired on this page, this shows Adwords Remarketing code. So that means if I publish and submit this workspace and make it live, this is what will happen. On this page, Adwords Remarketing code will get fired. And if there are any other codes which will not get fired on this page, this will appear below this tags not fired on this page section. Okay, so we will leave the preview mode now, and we will publish the container. One thing you should note here is like it was also fired here. Okay, sometimes it will not happen. So even if it doesn't get fired here, you can publish it, and then you can see if it's working or not. And in the workspace changes here, you will see any changes that are not published yet. So one means like there has been one change which hasn't been published yet. Now I will submit it, and when you submit the changes, when you publish a new version of the workspace, you can add a description and a name here. Okay, and then we publish it, and now it's done. Okay, let's see the live version. So you can see now this is getting fired here, the remarketing tag. Okay, so this is working now. So this is how you can add AdWords conversion tracking code, AdWords remarketing code from Google Tag Manager. Okay, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will try to answer all the questions. Thanks, and have a good day.